Hey everyone, we're back again with another episode here, and we're just going to open the Great Vault just to see what we're able to get. Hopefully we get something better than last week. We got something we couldn't use last week, unfortunately, and this week we got... Okay, a few things to choose from. Let's see. Wrists, helmets, it wouldn't be upgrades. Either of those two. Another legs, those are different legs, but still not very useful. And we got a trinket. This one, I don't know how good this trinket is, I'll have to sim it. But that seems to be our best bet, as the other three wouldn't be upgrades. To show you how I sim everything in here, so while I have the Great Vault open, I can have that Simulation Craft add-on activated, and if I type /simc, I get this output here, which I can then input into RaidBots. I just have to copy and paste it in here. If I delete that and repaste it there, I get the items from the Great Vault, and I can actually just choose those, and it'll tell me what's best, essentially. RaidBots is definitely a site I recommend to use, especially if you're a DPS spec. It'll show you what items are upgrades and what aren't, and can really help in situations where you might have items at the same item level, just to show you what is best. So it does seem that the trinket would be the best for me, and it is a DPS upgrade. I don't have some of my enchants yet, so this second best output is if I had everything chanted and gemmed out, and this top output is with the best armor as well with the best enchants and gems. It seems like the trinket is a slight upgrade, only about 8 DPS from if I had everything gemmed enchanted, but an upgrade's an upgrade. So with that, since the other three won't give us any upgrades anyway, I will be choosing the trinket, and that's our reward, and we got 2 Halls of Atonement from that as well. Just kill the world boss, and unfortunately, no loot. I don't think we've gotten anything from the world boss yet, which is, I don't know what the drop rates are, but it seems unlucky to me. We could have used anything the world boss drops, which would have been a chest, hands, or a ring, but maybe next week. Just looking at the prices for the legendary base items now, they went down quite a bit from when I checked last. From when I got the 210, I've spent I think 47,000 on it. It's pretty much half the price now at 25,000, so I could have saved a lot of money there, but oh well, we got that already. The next rank up, the rank 3 is now 75,000, which it's I think about 25,000 less than it was before. Definitely seems to be obtainable. We're only at 19,000 gold right now, so it'll still take a bit of time to get there. But that last rank, 242,000, that's still a lot and would take a long time to farm that gold out. Alright, we just got into the last LFR wing, which is Sire Denathrius. No idea how this is going to go, never done him on LFR before. Hopefully smoothly, but I suspect we'll have a few wipes on him. Just got LFR Sire down on the first try, so it was actually pretty good. I think only 2 or 3 people died in total. People seem to know the movements and what to do, which helped quite a bit. So now that we're all finished with LFR, we never have to come back here again. That's 10 bosses LFR all complete, and we're just waiting to see what we get out of the loot here. Hopefully we're able to queue up for some normal Castle Nathria pretty quickly. If not, we'll just continue to progress through the Mythic Plus, and then do normal at some point when we get a bit more item level there. Let's see if we get any loot here, and we got the legendary and just the quest for first time killing Sire Denathrius, but no actual loot. At least the anima from that quest will count towards the weekly anima, so I won't have to worry about that for the week. So this 3 Halls of Atonement was the first dungeon that we really came close to the timer. I think we only had like a minute or a minute and a half left, and as you can see we had 19 deaths there as well. So it was a bit of a tricky one. I think halls, a lot of people, if they've done halls before and they're not new characters, they're used to skipping the middle part, but at a lower level, not everyone has invis pots, most people don't, so you wouldn't skip the middle part after the first boss, you kind of just slog through it. But in this case, I think we had a few new players in the group, which is awesome. It's great to see new players coming into the dungeon and learning the routes, as that's the only way they're going to learn. I think it's pretty hard nowadays, especially for tanks, to really learn the dungeons, as you're expected to know a lot. Like as a tank, you have to know the routes, how to pull everything, and it's just quite a bit. On top of learning your class on all that, it can get to be a lot of information that you need to know. But we still managed to power through this, even with 19 deaths. We can definitely power through with the DPS that we have, kind of carries us there. And that should be the case for a few key levels here. We can afford a decent amount of mess ups as long as we keep the DPS pretty high. As you'll see in a bit once this boss is dead, my overall DPS was pretty decent, but my single target here was quite low. I definitely feel my single target DPS dropping off a decent amount on bosses especially. But my overall DPS, especially in those AoE pulls, without Wild Spirits even, is pretty good. Due to Wildfire Cluster, it does a ton of damage. Here's a clip of just looking at the first pull of a dungeon with Wild Spirits active here, just seeing what kind of burst I can get on a 3-target cleave, and it's pretty decent. I think I get up to about 7 to 8,000 DPS at one point, so we're able to burn these pretty quickly, and during my Wild Spirits window, it feels amazing, just doing so much damage there. And here's a fun Slams pack and Plaguefall, especially if we get the tank to pull everything. You can see those damage numbers going up a lot. And I think here I get up to 15, maybe over 18k. So that's it's pretty fun to do. They go down pretty quick, so that doesn't last for a long time, but it's still a fun pull. So I thought I'd go over my single target rotation a little bit on this boss, as it is a purely single target fight. So when I open up, I'll usually start with a Serpent Sting right away just to get that dot rolling. And as long as I have Wild Spirits up as well as Coordinated Assault, I'll pop that shortly after. And I'll use a Wildfire Bomb, as we do want to keep at least one charge of Wildfire Bomb recharging at all times there. And I am running Wildfire Infusion, so it depends what kind of bomb that I get. If I have the Shrapnel Bomb, then I'll be using a lot of Raptor Strikes, at least 3, just to get that bleed out of there. For Volatile Bombs, I'm making sure that I refresh my Serpent Sting with them, but if it's the first bomb in a pull, I'll make sure I get Serpent Sting out before using it. And for Pheromone Bombs, great for using when I have low focus and 1 charge of Kill Command left. If I get that early, I'll probably just spend my focus still, as I would be okay on focus and I'd still have the 2 stacks of Kill Command. I do want to Kill Command quite early as well, shortly after my first bomb, just so I get the Bloodseeker debuff on the boss and I get that 10% attack speed. From there, it's just keeping up the Serpent Sting dot, using Wildfire Bombs accordingly depending on which kind of bomb that's next, using Kill Command to keep that dot on the target and to generate focus, and focus dumping with Raptor Strike. I feel the single target rotation is a bit more clear cut than the AoE rotation, as the AoE you kind of have more dots to worry about applying to enemies, and you have Carve thrown in the mix as well, but the single target rotation really doesn't seem to be too difficult. I'll be calling it here for the week, as it is getting a bit later on Monday and I'm about to log off here, so just going to go over the progress that we made. This week we did manage to get 2 layer 8s in Torghast complete, which is the first time that we completed 2 layer 8s, and that's really cool. For our item level, we're at 194. Didn't gain a whole lot of item level, but still got it up a little bit. Reputation at 3580. I don't think I'll be focusing on Reputation with Venari, really. It's just too much of a grind, and I won't really be getting a whole lot of it, I don't think, by the time this is all finished. We are all caught up when we're now level 38 here, so next week, tomorrow on the reset, we'll be able to get 40, and we won't have to worry about Renown anymore. For raid progression, we did finish Sire Denathrius and LFR this week, so we're all finished with LFR. We don't have to go back in there again. We can start progressing through normal. Hopefully I can queue for normal in the next week or so, get accepted, and get some bosses down in that. And for our Mythic Plus progression, we have almost all 3s done. We have 6 3s completed in time, and we have 2 more to go. I think I might change it up slightly. Before, I was trying to do all 3s before going on to do all 4s. I spent quite a lot of time, definitely over an hour, trying to queue for these last 2 dungeons, but I just couldn't find any in the queue, or I just wouldn't get an invite. And I did try to get a different key by doing 3s, but it just didn't happen for me. So instead, I think I'll make it dungeon-based, so if it did a 3 in a certain dungeon, next I'll do a 4. So instead of doing everything at a 3 before moving on to a 4, I just have to do it for that specific dungeon. So it's still the same linear progression, still the same amount of dungeons I'll have to get done at the end, but it'll make it a bit easier for me to just queue and not have to repeat a key level, as that does waste a lot of time, as we're doing a lot of dungeons with this challenge here. And finally, for the playtime, we're at 3 days, 7 hours, 32 minutes here. That's all I got for this week. Bit of a shorter one here, as I was pushing dungeons on my Death Knight a bit more and focusing on some other stuff, but hopefully I'll get a bit more progress for next week. Thanks for watching, everyone. Catch y'all in the next one.